Something deeply unsettling, highly calculated, is unfolding behind closed doors right now in Senegal. If you thought the geopolitical tug-of-war for the future of Dakar ended when the old establishment was pushed out of the palace, you need to wake up immediately. The internal systemic gatekeepers and their external backers have clearly made a definitive, unyielding choice. They will never, under any circumstances, leave Ousmane Sonko alone. Just when you think a nation has secured a moment of political stability, the institutional playbook gets completely flipped on its head. A couple of weeks back, the global headlines shocked the continent when Sonko was abruptly fired from his position as Prime Minister. They thought it was game over. They thought the story was written. But they completely miscalculated the sheer brilliance of the man they were trying to bury. Ousmane Sonko didn't pack his bags and head to a quiet beach resort to nurse his wound. No. He did something completely unexpected. He looked at his legal rights, picked up his cardinal constitutional mandate as a member of parliament and marched right back through the front doors of National Assembly. And what did he do? He rewrote the entire script on live television. He didn't just quietly take a seat in the back rows. He went ahead and got overwhelmingly re-elected as the brand new Speaker of the House. Talk about an absolute masterclass in political survival. 1 minute the establishment thinks they've successfully locked you out of the executive mansions. And the next minute, you are holding the legitimate gavel, controlling the entire structural flow of state policy. You really cannot make this stuff up. It's like throwing a man out of the front door only for him to slide down the chimney wearing a crown. But guess what? The absolute second he took that powerful seat, the machinery of suppression went into absolute overdrive. A relentless institutional witch hunt was unleashed against him within hours. Why, you may ask? Because the entrenched political elites have realized a terrifying reality. This man possesses an organic gravitational pull over the masses that simply cannot be manufactured, bought, or broken. Let's take a look at the raw mechanics of political rallies for a second, because we need to inject some brutal, unfiltered honesty into this analysis. We all know how the standard establishment operates across the world when they want to appear popular, right? Right? Good. They pull up in convoy luxury vehicles, throw around a little pocket change, 5,000 francs here, 2,000 francs there, hand out free t-shirts, and literally buy a crowd for an afternoon. It is purely a transactional arrangement. It's a hollow artificial display of popularity that completely evaporates the very second the money runs out. But Ousmane Sonko does not pull the Senegalese masses because he's handing out loose change. Absolutely nonsense. He fills the streets with thousands of passionate, unbought citizens because his organization, the PASTEF party, represents something money can never purchase. A genuine, uncompromising blueprint for deep structural transformation. They are offering the people an authentic, complete release from economic dependency and an unyielding commitment to local self-determination. That is the exact vision the African youth have been desperately screaming for over decades. We're talking about generations of brilliant, capable minds who are completely exhausted from watching traditional leaders beg for international crumbs while foreign entities extract the immense wealth of their native soil. When the youth look at Sonko, they didn't see a typical career politician looking for a comfortable seat or state pension. They see a direct mirror of their own frustrations, their own defiance, and their own unshakable desire for complete national ownership. And that makes him the most dangerous man on the continent in the eyes of the status quo, because these domestic and international interests have realized they cannot break his spirit and they cannot dilute his popular appeal. They have resorted to the ultimate weapon of desperate establishment, legal warfare. They ran straight to the Constitutional Council, desperately flipping through dusty law books to find any loophole they could find to tear his position apart. They are actively trying to invoke hyper-technicalities, claiming that because he stepped away to serve briefly as Prime Minister, he somehow abandoned his parliamentary seat and has no legal right to return to it. Can you believe the sheer audacity of these characters? They are weaponizing the very structures of justice to execute an absolute injustice. They want to use every single institutional trick in the book to kick him out, strip away his legislative platform, and render his voice entirely silent. Think about the psychological desperation at play here. When you cannot defeat a leader in an open debate of ideas, and when you cannot outvote him in the streets, you try to hire a team of corporate lawyers to erase him behind closed doors. It is a classic textbook strategy designed to steal the people's choice under the guise of bureaucratic paperwork. They want to turn the National Assembly into a quiet, compliant room that doesn't disrupt external contracts or question national debt structures. Oh no, they know that with Sonko holding that legislative gavel, every single piece of legislation, every foreign loan agreement, and every resource concession is going to be scrutinized with an absolute magnifying glass. But here is the message I want to send directly to those internal and external actors pulling the strings in Dakar right now. Even if you manage to use your combined structural power, your backroom alliance, and your regulatory manipulation to strip him of his speaker title, you have already lost the long-term war. Why? Even if you somehow remove him from parliament entirely, you cannot delete a revolutionary idea from the minds of an awakened population. Ousmane Sonko's vocal frequency in Senegal will remain incredibly loud, unyielding and omnipresent. You cannot impeach an entire movement. Oh no, you cannot. And you cannot place a judicial injunction on the collective desires of millions of people. He doesn't need a fancy state microphone or a gilded office to command the attention of the streets. He could be standing on a wood crate in the middle of a local market and the entire country would still pause to listen to his breakdown of national affairs. So, for our family over in Senegal, this is your definitive wake-up call. You cannot afford to sit back, cross your arms, and watch this unfold like a standard television drama. It is time to sit up, stand firm, and aggressively shield the integrity of your authentic national transformation. Because let me break down a fundamental truth about real change. The global establishment absolutely detests a genuine awakening. Why do they hate it so intensely? Because they know with absolute certainty that your complete reliance, your economic freedom, and your internal industrial control means you are going to systematically remove the food right out of their mouths. For decades, their luxury has been subsidized by Continental compliance. The moment you decide to own your own future, their unearned privileges vanish into thin air. This structural battle we are witnessing in Dakar is a clear warning sign for the entire continent. It proves that breaking away from centuries of systemic exploitation is never going to be a smooth, comfortable administrative process. that the forces that thrive on continental dependency will fight tooth and nail, using every single asset in their arsenal, from financial blockades to judicial subversions, to keep their grip on your future. But Senegal has a unique historic opportunity to show the rest of Africa how an organized, hyper-conscious population protects its visionary leaders. True regional self-determination is not delivered on a silver platter by international organizations. It is fiercely defended by the citizens who refuse to let their choices be overridden by judicial manipulation. The world is watching Dakar, and the outcome of this struggle will echo far beyond the borders of West Africa. The time for passive observation is completely over. The unfolding drama surrounding Ousmane Sonko is the ultimate proof that the old guard will use every desperate trick in the book to halt the rise of a self-determined Africa. If you are completely done with watching genuine grassroots leaders get systematically targeted by backroom political mechanisms, and if you want to support fiercely independent analysis that completely shatters the mainstream narrative, then you need to lock into this platform. Smash that subscribe button with absolute conviction. Also, hit that like button right now to drive this broadcast directly past the algorithm, and drop your unfiltered thoughts down below. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the establishment's legal trap will succeed in sidelining Sonko, or will the power of the Senegalese street completely overwhelm them? Let's spark an absolute fire in the comment section. Share this video across every single group, every platform, and every network that needs to know the real story behind the headlines. You are the structural backbone, the continuous energy, and the unyielding voice behind Power and Pulse. I am your host, Marie. We are closing the brief for tonight, but never forget our collective advancement is strictly our own internal mission. This is Power and Pulse, and I will see you all in the next tactical update.